guys, my name is Ali Games, and welcome back to Let's Play The Letter. Now, it's been a while since I recorded anything. It's been about, I think, almost 2 weeks. I kind of just stopped recording. I just couldn't get into it again, and then I got sick. I'm still sick. I got sick this past Saturday, not the Saturday this will probably come out, but the Saturday before. So it's been like a week since I've gotten sick, and you can still hear it. But, I'm feeling a little bit better. I thought I'd try and give recording another try. Last time we left off, we were... Oh my god, it's been a while. We finished up Ashton's, and we went to the the Wright Mansion. We tried to pretty much see what was going on, as well as inform the couple that, you guys gotta get out of the house, there's something wrong, something that I personally, the police can't help you with. There's something supernatural here that no one can get rid of. And, he saved Marion, he found her in the cell, he got her out. He was attacked by the butler in the one attic room. I think that Isabella found the letter. And then Isabella came and saved him. Turns out all three of his friends are there. So they're trying to escape the house, and the house is changing for some reason. And I was thinking of, like, Spooky's House of Jump Scares, but there was, I can't remember if it's a game or it's a movie that was like that. But, like, when they tried to escape the house, it was like, like the house changed every time. And I'm trying to think if it was a movie or a game. If you guys know what it is, type it down, because I'm racking my brain trying to think of what it was. But anyways, we are now on the last chapter of Luke. Gonna go ahead and load him up. He's kind of concerned about his wife. He's like, there's some things going on. It just, that face, it's like, yes, suffer, Luke. Anyways, this is the 29th. This is the day that Ash was left off the case. I'm trying to see what else happened. This is the day that Hana got possessed. Okay, and then Ash and Isabella went to BRC. They met the woman. They were attacked in the elevator. And that's it. Then, like, Luke is like, okay, Hana, you're acting really weird. Could you please not? And I'm glad that he's finally fucking, like the end of Ashton's, and both of them, or no, both, in the one. One or both of them, I don't know. The one that Ashton died in, he's like, Hana? And it's like, yes, you are finally understanding there's something wrong with your fucking wife. Anyways, we'll continue. I'm sorry if I'm really so nasally in that. It's like a cough, nose, head thing. Anyways, why do you sit down and relax, dear?
We are supposed to be spending time together. I don't think you rushing around like a handmaid is how I pictured it. You are wearing yourself out, and the sun is still high in the sky.
There's a stiff jerk of her head, as if to say no, while she busies herself with making tea with water already lukewarm. Oh, yeah, and she served him breakfast in bed, and she's hinting that there was... I swear to God, she hinted that she killed cats and put it inside the pastry, and it's disgusting. There's a stiff jerk of her head, as if to say no, while she busies herself with making tea with water already lukewarm. My instruction to take leave may be the only one she refuses to follow. Even if I express concern for her well-being and point out there are others assigned to the task she wishes to carry out.
You do not need the others. You have me. I wish to show my usefulness, and I wish that you not ask me to leave.
It's like, you don't need the others. You have me. Oh, I'm just waiting for her head to just, like, slowly look. Like she was at the top of the staircase. Hana. Yeah, like, I can understand if she's like, oh, once in a while I like to take care of my husband, whatever. But it's like, she's like, no, it's, I think because it just kind of, between what she was trying to do the night before and now it's like, okay, it's kind of creeping me out. It was a thought that escapes my mouth, and I prepare myself for the reprimanding. Because servants, Lucille Mitchell Wright, Lucille? Lucille? Is your name Lucille? These are our employees, and you will treat them with respect at the very least. Yet that didn't come.
Of course, I'm not a servant. I am your wife. Your princess.
I think we're both a bit too old to be playing princes and princesses. I do not know what brought on such behavior from her. Yet I can't bring myself to scoff at the idea. Now when she looks torn, and kind words might bring her some degree of comfort. I won't indulge in this delusional talk of monarchy, to an extent. One could suppose that Hana is indeed Luxborn royalty after all.
Princess? Oh, no, Hana. You are my queen. And a queen needs to sit next to her king. So please, sit.
I'm gonna move that a little bit. There we go. That's better. I can still feel them. Little bugs on my skin, crawling and squirming. So he hasn't, so far, and this started the 17th, okay, so for 12 days, almost 2 weeks, he has not experienced a single ghost or ghoul or anything until now. Until it affects his wife. And it's so weird. Or, no, he did the night before. He did the night before when he was sitting in his office? No, maybe not. I don't know. He saw a thing in the mirror, or and they looked behind him and nothing was there. And that was the only thing so far. So what the fuck, man? But I ignore them as Hana sits down next to me and I put my hand in hers. The touch nearly makes me want to pull away. For now, I feel them burrowing into my skin, digging holes into me, though there is nothing to be seen there. I clasp her hand, though her touch burns with both cold and hot. Oh, I don't like this. Did not like the thought that Hana, my sunshine, my darling, is something I should fear. It's a bit of a paradox, for all that I do and should feel at peace in this quiet moment, dread overtakes every part of me. Good! Feel scared! A small voice in the back of my head screams that there is something wrong, but I cannot bring myself to look further into it. Listen to the little voice. The whole thing doesn't even last.
The tea is ready. I should go. I've forgotten the milk and sugar in the kitchens. If you may excuse me.
Should I? Just let her do what she wants. I don't say a word as her hand slips through mine. I'm left alone for a short while. My skin is numb while she's gone, and my mind wanders. My eyes roll to one of the paintings in the room. Lady and Lord Ermengarde, I suppose. Or is it their daughter and her fiancé? I had agreed to the acquisition of this house on a whim, on a thought. It's just an added bonus that I share some likeness to the young lord. I'm not so vain that I thought to look into a mirror only to find it's one of the old portraits. But can one blame me if I preen? With the chatty servants pointing out how he very well pass off his hand with a hairstylist and costume. I swear to God, when we first started, I thought he was like a vampire or like some like demon or something that like is attached to the house or something. I don't know. I'm kind of glad it didn't go that way, but damn it, that would have been cool either way. Certainly a great big ego boost, not only a crazy random happenstance. To imagine that is my face on the old canvas, having a commission befitting royalty. To believe that is my face on those walls and believe that I've always belonged here. To believe that I've never been a street rat. The singing and the buzzing returns as does Hana. There's something really wrong. But what? Watching Hana set the table gives me some time to think. I suppose it could just be paranoia. Been informed of a particularly nosy investigator snooping about, and Suarez has yet to catch who leaked the confidential information regarding my businesses. It could be any number of things, really. I have so many things to do after this important day off. But as I was saying, or thinking rather, I do not want to believe this is Hana. She's acting differently, but that's a thing humans do. We are not static creatures who act our day-to-day in the same manner as the previous one. I care greatly about her, and, knock on wood, I have hope that this odd behavior of hers is not an omen of things to come. Oh, you poor man. At worst, this is merely behavior of hers I've only failed to notice before. I do not blame the party in that horrid Rochelle Lee. Or I do blame the party in that horrid Rochelle Lee. To prove her usefulness, she said, so that I do not send her away. It disturbs me greatly, Now that I watch her closely while she pours me a drink, but does not bother to have one herself.
It's not that I'm criticizing your sudden initiative to be a housewife. That is your choice, of course. I admit I may be partly at fault. I've been neglectful and haven't shown my appreciation to you as of late.
Yes, you have. You're being a dick. Let's see your relationship with her. Oh, it's not even over the thing. I'm sorry, but that just looks fucking evil right there.
But you do know that you really don't have to do any of this.
I can see her hand shake as she offers me a cup. Did I strike a nerve? Whatever the case, I reach out to take the tea before she could drop it. No. As it turns out, I'm the one who would end up dropping the tea. Though mercy of mercies, the tea was cold. On the other hand, Hana's skin burned even more so than before.
Oh no, please don't be angry. I'm so sorry, my prince.
A small cry escapes the woman's lips before she kneels down to clean up, picking up porcelain shards from the carpet. It is then that I notice the light sheet of sweat dotting her forehead, the paleness of her skin, and just how sickly and dull she seemed to be overall. I stop her, grabbing her wrist with one hand and placing my other hand on her forehead. She's burning up.
Hana, don't. I think you should rest. Just sit back and...
The thing about people fainting is that you really don't get forewarning. It's not like in the films where everything slows down and you get to watch as the other person's eyes roll in the back of her head, or their head. I suppose someone can still be quick enough to catch the other as they collapse, but as it is, I can't do anything when Hana falls to her side. The feeling of bugs on my skin is replaced by something much worse. This is all too familiar. A memory that hasn't left me, even after all these years. She was sprawled on the ground, her hair like a golden halo as it curled about her. Her pale skin made her look so ghostly, I had the irrational thought that she would simply fade away. And the shakes. Oh, I was so worried that she would start shaking again like last time. I could do little but stare, so shocked and afraid. Must be talking about his mother. I was ready to call for an ambulance, though she loathed the thought of going to a hospital. Mom! Are you alright?
Don't worry, dear. I just fell. Can you get Mommy special candy from my drawer?
But this isn't my mother. There's no special candy because this isn't supposed to happen. She's never done this before.
Hana? Are you alright?
Before I know it, I'm down on my knees. The cup shards dinging on my leg as the leg on my pants, but I ignore them in favor of Hana. She's warm, too warm, even as I try to shake her awake. A part of me says that it's a good thing. But for her to be warm, to know that her blood still courses through her body, hot-blooded things that humans are. To know that she still lives and that she isn't as cold as death. I don't even realize it, but I'm screaming. Not until I'm pulled away. Not until I'm struggling in desperation as I refuse to leave Hana's side. Okay, I'm glad that we actually see some remorse and some, actual more emotion from him than Dick. I'm so glad that he actually does care about Hana this much. I cry to be let go, scratching, kicking, and doing everything but biting the one who dares hold me back. The images of Mother, dead in her bed, flash before my eyes. I need to do something, anything. I don't want to be alone. Not again.
Hana? Don't you fucking leave me! Oh God, wake up, Hana!
Your blithering hysterics help no one, right? Now stay back before I knock you out.
I had to keep myself from lashing out, from strangling her for daring to get in the way of my wife and I. But I reminded myself that Johannes was a doctor. He is here to help. He can help Hana. And I will not accept excuses or suffer no incompetence.
Fix her, Shirokin. Make sure she's alright. Because if she
Fix
dies,
her?
so do you.
The stiff nod he gives me is probably the only guarantee I had that he'll do his best. Keeping yourself from dying is the best incentive anyone can get. Even then, I could not bring myself to rest easy. Deep breaths. Just take deep breaths. Panicking and murder isn't going to help Hana right now.
How is she? What's wrong with her?
I really can't tell, not without further laboratory tests. It can range from anything to simple dehydration or exhaustion to philosophical syncope.
What?
Hopefully it's nothing too serious. She has a high-grade fever. It could very well shut down her body. We have to go and cool her down, see if we can get it under control.
Well, should we call for an ambulance?
If she doesn't wake up soon, yes. But it's best not to move her just yet and...
Luke, what's going on?
And she just
What happened?
rises like that. Like it's like the old Dracula movies. It's like she just is laying there and then she just whoop straight up. I have no plans of apologizing as I shoved the butler aside to check on Hana. Though she's still lay on the ground, all that matters is that she's awake, that she isn't dead. Just the thought of it. Fuck. I don't know what I would have done if things were to the contrary.
Hey there, Sunshine.
Oops, I didn't mean to turn the
How
phone
are you
on.
feeling? Do you think you're up to standing?
I don't feel too good, no. But I think I can stand.
Pick her ass up and carry her to the bed. She reaches out for my hand and I quit to take it. Her cold and clammy skin is a cause for concern, but I force a reassuring smile on my face. At least, I hope it's reassuring. That isn't exactly an emotion I'm used to plastering on my face. Well, you better get used to it. I really have need or want to reassure anyone else, because, she's kind of pregnant right now. The most I can hope for is that I don't make her worry.
Come on then, let's get you up. Careful, careful. We don't want you to fall or break something.
Like a leg or your head. Though getting her up to her feet is easier said than done. She claims that she can manage to stand, but she's completely dead weight as I lift her up. Weak. Too weak. I can feel the trembling of her body, as if just existing has exhausted her. Okay, well, she's apparently good enough to throw a fucking giant-ass pole into someone's chest. Soon enough, Johans aids me and we manage to let Hana onto the chair without further incident. I have half the mind to wrench free and run. This is all too familiar and I want no part in this. But do I even have the choice? At the moment, I suppose yes. I'm not running away. That's preposterous. I just need to get some air.
Shrauken, take her up to our room and take care of her, all right? Schedule an immediate appointment to a physician. Get it done. As soon as possible. I just need to...
Breathe. I need to breathe. Gray skies loom over the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomiest clouds normal to Luxborn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of it there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me, and for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I did step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life, after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days, and I want to forget about them, even for just a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me as I neither worship the religion nor have any graves to visit. After all, Mother was never given a proper burial. But it's a date, as good as any, for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. I can remember how the flames licked at her flesh and how it consumed her body, until there was nothing left but ash. I stood there watching with the operator and the social service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one would attend the funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that is left of her, proof that she had lived, was her name written on the ledger of Luxborn Cemetery, a letter, and me. Pulling out the letter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame, to run my hand over her name. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me not to make something of myself when she would have given everything to make sure I could become anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now.
Oh, you are.
What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me. Alive and as beautiful as ever. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
Okay, this is depressing. Eleanor Chandler was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone has seen past her occupation, past her vices and her illness. And all they saw was a poor woman who sold her body to make ends meet, and had a bastard son because of it. Okay, well, the second part, I don't think I wouldn't really give a shit about. They did see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me. The woman who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work. But though I loved her so, I worked hard for myself. I would not be so foolish, so selfless towards people who would never get back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocket the lighter before I can feel the urge to actually set anything ablaze. Considering my close proximity to the flowers, they would be the most likely victim of arson. Just the thought itself is blasphemous. Nevertheless, that doesn't say if ever being picked. Just enough to make a bouquet of things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother?
Maybe not with the fact that you're cheating on your wife.
You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved. Especially now.
It's been a while since I've talked to my mother like this. They say that even when our loved ones have passed on, they stay to watch over us. Though I believe in neither heaven nor hell, a hopeful part of me wishes it were true, as ridiculous as the idea is. I can't help but grow still, a chill going up my spine, when I do feel eyes upon me. For a while, I think I'm imagining it, but I'm all too familiar with the sensation of being watched. Carefully, I scan my surroundings, doing my best not to give away the fact that I'm aware of their presence, whoever they are. There's not a soul in sight on the field surrounding the mansion. Yet they're on the balcony overlooking the garden. She stands there. Trick of the eye. If it's gonna, he thinks it's mom, it's gonna be fucking sad. What the fuck? She stands there, and though I cannot see her face clearly from afar, I know she's the one staring at me. A servant, if one were to judge by her clothing. From this distance, I can't discern what those stains on her clothing are. The woman gives off a rabid air, and simply did not belong with her surroundings. That isn't what worries me, though. What worries me is that she isn't one of ours. She can't be. Obvious signs of being tattered and dirty state aside, there shouldn't be anyone else in the mansion aside from the three of us. And that's the balcony that leads to our bedroom. Forget pretending that I don't notice her.
You! What are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there!
It's a stupid thing to do, I realize in hindsight, but calling attention to it was a spur-of-the-moment plan. From the height, there's no way she would have jumped off the balcony, and perhaps she would have been only able to sneak in there because Hana is asleep. Calling out to her would wake Hana and, at the very least, call Johan's attention to the matter at hand. I dread to think of any other way she could have gotten there without Hana calling for us. Okay, let me see the tree real quick. Oh my god, we're actually making progress! Yay! Yay! The woman on the balcony doesn't react, barely even stirs. Probably drug-addled or touched in the head, though that begs the question of how she even managed to get in there. That changes nothing, of course, and doesn't stop me from running back to the mansion.
Shuriken! There's an intruder! In the bedroom! Upstairs! Secure Hana immediately!
Bursting in through the front doors, I'm greeted by Johans with a kitchen knife in his hands, looking wary and alert. There's a question on his lips for a moment, but he's quick to fall into place, giving me a curt nod before we rush up the foyer stairs. That woman would need to go through us to get anywhere, and between me and the butler, there's no way she's getting away. There's no announcing ourselves as I slam the bedroom door open, expecting to see the worst inside. We find Hana simply seated at her vanity without a care in the world. My relief couldn't be any greater. I don't even question if she's well enough to be moving around yet. But that is soon followed by a suspicion and a caution. Without a word, I signal for Johans to search through the room for the intruder, even go so far as slipping into the second bedroom. She couldn't have gone anywhere else, not without getting our attention, not without Hana noticing. It isn't too far-fetched to think that she may have been forced to act like nothing is out of the ordinary. If she's being forced to do this, she would be able to tell me without alerting the criminal. We should be ready for such things, after all, being the wealthy, powerful, influential people that we are. And though I hesitate to break her peace, to make her worry any more than she has a right to be, I know that matters of safety shouldn't be taken so lightly. Even if I could just content myself with just watching her.
Are you alright, Hana?
There's a moment of silence as she fastens a cord around her neck, and with her back still turned to me, she replies as calmly as can be.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Is there something wrong?
Yeah, you. There's no sign of coercion or deceit. She gives none. Everything looks fine. Seems fine. Hana says as much. Stepping out into the balcony doesn't say anything apparently. The outside is devoid of any signs is devoid of signs any other human life with how secluded the property is. Though it is hard to be sure how the sun has set, trying to locate one on the large property by myself would be futile. Whether it is the truth or a convenient lie, one can only assume that everything is all right. And even Johannes is in agreement.
There's nobody in the second bedroom or in the closet. It's all clear.
Yet I can't find out the awful feeling that's taken over me.
Are you sure? Nobody?
Yeah.
Double check. Triple check everything. Check the whole house if you have to.
What's going on? What is all this then?
He claims to have seen an intruder standing on your balcony. Did you notice anyone here, madam?
No, it's just been me. I've not heard or seen anybody else aside from the two of you all day. Strange.
The others have been given the day off. There shouldn't be anybody else here.
Except for the ghosts!
Are you sure of what you saw?
It's
Perhaps
surprising. It's surprising though, we haven't seen the ghost of the man yet. We've seen the slave, that I'm assuming she's a slave, Charlotte Ermengarde, but we haven't seen her fiance yet. We haven't seen her fiance's ghost yet.
Yes, I bloody well am sure of what I saw. There was a woman standing there, dark hair and in servant's clothing. Are you insinuating that I am making things up? That I'm going mad? Because if you are, I don't care how competent you've been. I won't have such disrespect directed at me. It's not paranoia if people are out to get me.
My anger is easily roused. No thanks to the adrenaline rush that's kicked in sometime I don't know when. I don't think I'll ever get used to this feeling, really. No matter how many a time I had to rely on it to survive on the streets as a child, to survive everything with how high I've managed to prop myself up. And I take any and all threats toward my person seriously.
I'm not implying that you're mad. The occasional hallucination is a completely normal and human experience, as long as it isn't a repeat occurrence.
Oh, so what? That was a trick of the light? My imagination?
You haven't ingested any alcohol today, have you?
A valid question, but...
I am not drunk.
In my state, I only realize how quiet Hana's gotten when she doesn't joke about my debatable alcoholism. There's no clever quip or words of fun exasperation. She's only been watching me through all of this. And when I do notice that, I start feeling bugs crawling on my skin. When I didn't deign to speak further, fixated on the sensation, Johannes comes in.
Whatever the case, we need to establish tighter security. We should have done so from the start.
Yeah.
If you were seeing things, then we got lucky. Had there been a real intruder, we were ill prepared.
So is this why when Ash sneaks in, that's why the security's upped? Is because because of this?
Of course. I trust that you can hire the most qualified from the agency.
Are you all right, Hana? You seem disquieted.
I'm well, my love. I was just worried about how the hallucination brought you distress.
It wasn't hallucination, I'm sure of it. But what can I do to prove the otherwise?
It doesn't matter. You are safe, as am I. I overreacted.
Perhaps rest is necessary. It is late into the day, and you must be tired from your gardening.
Before I asked how she knew what I was doing, a small fond smile graces her lips before she brushes away a few yellow petals from my sleeve. But does it really look like I'm that exhausted? I'm sure to be well rested, despite it all. And it's not like I've done anything physically exhausting today. Beyond running here in a hurry, anyway. No doubt I left the trail of the flowers in my mad dash. And I suppose I do look a mess.
Rest sounds good. I guess I'll need to sleep a lot more than I thought. But
I'll stay on guard outside for the night. You two have nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about? I'm not so sure about that. But thinking any more about it isn't going to do anything.
Come on then, my love. Off to bed. I have been restless without you by my side.
You can tell. Even then, I can't force away the uneasiness that settles over me. Sleep is hard to attain, and even Hana's embrace does not help. She's still burning up. Alright, 31st? Monday! Alright, actually, let me check real quick. Did we get... Yes, the first was the last... Okay, yes, the first. Okay. There was something new on this. I'm going to see it. See... The meat pie! Is this it? Maybe? Nope, this is it. Wanting some alone time and fresh air, Luke excused himself, lingering in the gardens as he remembered the memory of his late mother. It was all pleasant at first until he glimpsed someone watching him from the balcony. Really, little sleep was had and I felt completely drained come morning. Even when Hana rises from bed, in spite of a mild fever, and invites me down to breakfast, I can't be bothered to drag myself out from the comfort of the sheets. It's not like I need to do something particularly important today. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps just a little. The strange sunny weather has been nice and all, but for it to return as it should feels like a good sign of things to come. Perhaps things will settle back to normal, and the crazy drama that's gone on lately will die down. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. With how it looks outside, it seems that the weather is making up for all the sunny days it has given us, with a good old-fashioned downpour. It does let up within a quarter of an hour. However, a day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take it as an immediate sign. Luxporn's abysmal weather is back, likely for good. I hope they did a damn good job fixing up this place because I'd rather not have to deal with leaky roofs. Although Hana might find humor in it and perhaps ask me to sing in the rain to wear out my anger, I don't like the idea that the realty did a horrible patch job with this place. Hana technically, paid millions for this place. It better live up to the price the realty company sold it for. And the fact that she upped the price herself, she's like, I'll give you like 15% more. Not that it's something she should be fretting about at the moment, when her health's not at its best. Hana's going to be brought to the hospital for a checkup today, and if anything, I prefer that she focus on getting better. That fever, no matter how slight it is, can be good for her. Well, with her odd behavior recently. You'd think she hit her head hard against something while I wasn't looking. Perhaps a proper rest is all she needs, but I'd rather not assume things. I'm a businessman, not a doctor. Wonder of wonders why I even bother agreeing to babysit. Wonder of wonders why I even bother agreeing to babysitting duty at that. But here I am, scheduled as today's babysitter for Suarez's brat, once her father drops her off on the mansion steps. Though that is a worry for much, much later. If I wish to, I can ask that nobody bother me while I doze off in a cocoon of comforters. But as always, somebody has to be a buzzkill.
Are you really going to stay in bed all day?
Yes.
What do you want? It's far too early to deal with your nosiness.
You must have been really rattled by what happened yesterday. If you need to talk about it, I am quite qualified in that regard.
And you aren't even the slightest bit bothered? Truly? Not even the slightest bit worried?
I was worried. But I realized that it's not my life in danger, is it? My worrying will not help matters. Neither will yours.
Loath as I am to admit it, he is right. The whole thing would have rattled me, but there is little point in jumping at every shadow I see from the corner of my eye. I shouldn't lose my head for a threat that might not even come. I should know better by now. But I've never been this worried about a possible threat on my life before. I'll be honest here. If anyone is in danger, it's Hana. I can take care of myself just fine. With security tightened, I'll have at least one guard, if not 5, making sure nobody gets within 10 feet from me without my say-so. Hana, on the other hand, will be away for most of the day to get that fever checked on. Upon my insistence, it is a small relief that Johans will be with her.
Are there any updates about the woman?
Being in the dark has me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. But they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
Yeah, then, that's why the security's so tight when Ash gets here. The next day. We're not even halfway through. We're not even a fourth of the way through.
So you have nothing then? What of use you guys are? What do I even pay you for?
To look good.
Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Can anyone blame me if I show the tiniest bit of interest? She's still not done with the house, and she's a nice enough woman. Plans to go back to sleep are gone.
I called her secretary about taking the day off.
Yeah.
He hasn't heard from her over the weekend.
She's probably passed out after enjoying a pint or 2 or 10 in a bar somewhere. She's an adult. It was the weekend. She's allowed to disappear and not think about work. Fuck. I wish I was passed out after a night of drinking. He does know that mobiles are a thing.
That's all well and good, but she's not answering her mobile either. Mr. Parker will be filling a missing persons case with the police if she doesn't turn up today.
Certainly someone must know where she is. Tabs are kept without fail on people who come to work with me. Background checks and constant surveillance until they finish their contracts with the rights. Some would say that's all a bit over the top. But I can't be too safe. Too many want me dead.
What about one of ours? Has anyone seen her? She's pretty hard to miss with how tall the woman is.
The last anyone has seen of her was here, the morning of the party.
Yeah, it was you.
Your housewarming party.
That isn't good news.
It wouldn't do for the police to hear of this and to suspect.
It says it's a little report that I can easily prove my innocence. It is all a matter of principle. Because even the accusation of misdemeanor should not stain my reputation. Although, maybe it is a bit too late to hope for a squeaky clean one. Besides, it would be such a hassle to have police poking about the house looking for a body that doesn't exist.
Now, if we're done here, I'd like to go back to sleep and...
Well, there goes any plans on grabbing some shut-eye. Rolling over my stomach, I can only scream into my pillow.
Of course, of course. Ugh. Johans, distract her.
Oh, look, it's time for me to go. Have fun with your little play date. So long, farewell, and auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
No, Johans, don't you turn away from me. Keep her busy for an hour. Come on!
Come on! I have to press my face against the pillow once more to suppress a groan. I just can't get loyal help anymore.
Hello there, little Fraulein. Your uncle is just upstairs and will be down in a moment. He is super excited to have you today. I hope you're well rested and ready to play a lot.
That bastard. I'll be down in a sec, Munchkin. Let me just...
Change into a fresh shirt, brush my teeth, fix my hair, bemoan my very existence. Wish I was anywhere else in the world right now. Don't get me wrong, Kylie is a great kid. Wonderful. Better than most brats her age. But handling a tyke is the last thing I want on my agenda right now with this whole Hana business. Fortunately, I'm well versed in how the world works. I've long learned that the show must go on, no matter what hurdles come in my way. So I set to preparing for the day. Running a comb through my hair is just divine and simply makes me feel more human. But hair is disgusting, though it isn't as bad as now as it was when I was a child. With how expensive a trip to the barber's was, I often had to grow it out until Mother had the time to cut it for me. The curls and tangles were simply horrid. Why, I was even mistaken as a little girl because of that. It certainly doesn't help that I was named Lucille. A freshly pressed shirt is enough to chase away the last of night's sleepiness. The feel of crisp and clean cloth in my hands is a clear marker to the start of the day. Smoothing down my shirt and my hair with a sigh, I steel myself for the horrors. The horrors that come with taking care of a child.
Good morning to you, Luke.
Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, Kylie grins up at me as soon as I open the bedroom door. She swings the backpack she's clutching, hitting my leg in a show of impatience, looking entirely unapologetic for it.
Did you just wake up? Don't tell me you forgot. It's our play date today.
I doubt I'd forget. Kylie's visits are a frequent enough thing that they found a way into my schedule. They're supposed to be visits to her godmother. But we can't pick who a child gets along with. So long as I'm not busy, her father can drop her off for the day. Which is all well and good for me, if it makes Suarez focus on work I've given him. Besides, she's a bright child. Tolerable. Kid's got a good head on her shoulders and can get pretty mature for her age at times. Of course, they have to thank me for that. Her parents can take partial credit, but Hana and I have been there for the kid since she was just a small babe. Why, I can still remember the first time I saw her. It was during her baptism. The only reason I was there was to accompany Hana, who was to be named Godmother. She was such a tiny thing, not even a year old, and swaddled in her mother's arm in white cloth. It was the first time I really saw an infant up close. Close enough to hold one, at least. It had been terrifying to be given a little child to carry after the whole water ceremony. I'd never done so before that, to hold a tiny little life in my arms. I could have just dropped her on her head and this little tyke before me would have stopped existing then and there. But the child just smiled at me, babbling nonsensical words as children do, and clinging to me even as I tried to hand her off to Hana. She had thought it was hilarious and adorable. My suit had been a mess, and I was nearly an anxious wreck by the time I handed her back to her mother. Yet it was pleasant, too.
Of course I didn't, you little rugrat. I just had to take care of something before you arrived.
A.k.a. sleep.
Really? Well, I guess that's fine. As long as he told me for work like last time.
Really? Now why don't we go back down and have breakfast in the parlor?
I already ate at home. Papa made one of his tortilla de patatas. He wouldn't let me leave until I finished every bite.
Ah, the Suarez's infamous tortilla de patatas. Did I say that right? I don't know. Those things are a hazard. You could probably use one to bludgeon someone into submission with how huge they are. It's a miracle Kylie can still be so energetic. I had trouble staying awake the first time I had one. Speaking of staying awake...
Well, I need some coffee in me at the very least. But if you'd like, you can jump straight to dessert.
Yes! Dessert, please!
It's easy enough to manage Kylie with the promise of sweets, thankfully. The hard part is managing her before she gets the sweets. Because I nearly have a heart attack when the kid races down the stairs. Just the thought of her slipping or breaking her neck is enough to make me rush down after her.
Slow down, the food isn't going anywhere.
The food is going somewhere. In my tummy.
Jesus fucking Christ. Children.
Jesus. Oh, this is why I don't want kids. With a shake of my head, I usher Kylie towards the parlor and order a maid to bring food to us. Whatever breakfast there is, along with a cup of coffee for me and an ice cream for Kylie. But I can't leave the kid alone for too long, unless I want her to turn the other room into a slaughter ground. True to my expectations, I've only left Kylie alone for a few minutes, but she's already made herself comfortable. The stuff from her okay, that doll is creepy as shit. The stuff from her backpack has been left scattered across the room, from coloring books to crayons and toys. She's well equipped to amuse herself with no trouble, though I could certainly breathe a little easier if she won't bring her doll along every time she visits. Narcissa, or Sissa, is a creepy little bugger. It doesn't help if Kylie left her during one. Wait, she just left the doll here and it's like just stayed there. Oh no. Finding the thing at the bottom of the stairs staring up at me at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning is a memory that won't be leaving me anytime soon. Oh! It's like fucking Annabelle in here. Even now, it stares at me from where it's seated. I'm wholly tempted to just throw the thing into the fireplace and banish it from whence it came. I could buy her a prettier doll, a better toy. I will break it and find a way to get rid of it. If it wasn't from Hana and if only Kylie wasn't so attached to it. It's like, Hana, did you have to pick such a scary looking toy? The thing is from some antique doll she found for the brat's 6th birthday. One of a kind. My darling Hana loves her so. And Kylie does try to be a good goddaughter, but she just can't keep her interests along with the wife. It's not something that Hana does wrong on her part. She does try so very, very hard. It's just that she doesn't quite know how to really handle children. She'd never been around other children when she was young, surrounded by protective adults who cater to her every whim and worry for her safety every minute. When she isn't able to keep up with Kylie, her first instinct is to be strict. Impose rules on the child, treat her as if she's made of spun glass, like every movement might break her. I, at the least, have some idea from being around street kids. I know the games they've played and how they think. I know that scraps and skin knees are all part of childhood. Even with how I grew up, I had time to be a child, not some sheltered Harris. With Kylie? As behaved as she can be with her toys and her books and arts, she still has to use up all of her energy somehow. To run around the playground and make a mess in the mud, or even just fake wrestle for a short while. Let her be a child when she wants, I'll say. If it becomes too much, just bribe her with sleeps or ship her back to Papa. Problem solved. Unfortunately, Hana isn't quite up for those things most of the time, thinking it'll spoil the child. It turns the whole playdate awkward every time. Taking the last seat left, I pluck one of her coloring books from the table to see it filled with dinosaurs. Not exactly what I expect to see for a little girl, but doesn't hurt anyone. If she wants to play with dolls and cars, or dolls with their cars, what do I care? She wants to put dolls' tutus on model cars even.
Oh, this is a new one. The last one you had was filled with horses, wasn't it?
Those were ponies, Tio. They're much cuter than horses. But we went to a
So
dinosaur
sorry.
zoo, and it was awesome! Dinosaurs are my favorite.
I have no idea what that is, but it must be something. I'm only familiar with the T-Rex myself.
Yeah, they found, fossils of its claws. They're really long. They think the whole theory might be a bazillion meters tall, even bigger than a T-Rex. Cisa says it'll be big enough to eat all my classmates.
She only laughs as I scratch up my nose and grimace.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
I have to stop and look around, expecting one of the help to be there. The child does have a way of befriending just about anyone, as long as she puts her mind to it. Yet the two of us are completely alone. Oh, okay, so... She was mentioning Takako earlier, so Takako is an imaginary friend. Okay. Thankfully, she only finds my disturbed look as another funny grown-up expression. That might be a lot more problematic than whether she plays with dolls or cars, though. Both the thoughts of Cisa give me Kylie ideas, and then one of my ideas being massacred by dinosaur. Something I probably need to bring up with her father, aside from work. But beyond murderous dinosaurs, creepy dolls, and imaginary friends, I find no trouble with Kylie. She's as energetic and precocious as any type her age can be. Excuse me. She's an angel. She can get comfy and settled in after getting her sweets. We tuck it into our waffles as soon as the food is brought in. That looks good, though. Our waffles become our waffles because she wanted her own plate to go with the ice cream as soon as she saw mine. A fresh plate of berries is brought in as well, which really goes great with the rest of this feast, as Kylie puts it. And if I indulge in the sweetness, I have a cup of black coffee to pair it off with. With our bellies full, Kylie grows content with just scribbling on a scrap of paper and calmly chatting about her week. She talks of her older brother Rowan and their parents, how they plan to go to the Bloxland and Berkshire for the winter holidays. She talks with Miss Pink, and I have to shift my legs to become uncomfortable once more. The memory of my initial meeting with her is still fresh in my mind. Oh, I love it. The little brat is quick to defend her favorite academic as well. The woman has yet to offer a proper apology, and she wishes to give one on her behalf, all diplomatic, like I taught her. She talks of the sad man in the park and of her new friends who likes to play hide and seek when she's not sniffing in the loo. Oh, the sad man in the park, was that Z? Was that Zach? I don't know why I call him Z, but was it Zach? When finally she finds nothing new to talk about, she goes back to her drawings. That'll change as soon as her stomach settles, of course, the calm before the storm. Because behaved as she is right now, I can feel the curiosity just radiating off of her. There's a restlessness buzzing under her skin and a question on the tip of her tongue, as they often are with children her age. But for now, I can take this piece with no complaint for however long it stays. I have fun with the crayons as well, at the child's insistence, even if I can't really draw. With Kylie using the black crayon, that leaves me with the blue one. I absentmindedly start to draw a puppy to the best of my abilities. It's as I attempt to get the doodle dogs in the other eye that Kylie breaks with silence.
Tio? Where did Tia go? I saw them leave when I got here. Tia didn't look so good.
I've been expecting a lot of different questions. The kid always has a bunch of them ready for me, but I can only sigh when she posed this particular one.
She's just going to the doctor's for a checkup.
And as kids go, there are follow-up questions.
And you didn't go with her?
Well, you were going to be here, sweetie, so I had to stay behind.
So she's all alone? At the hospital?
Oh, no, of course not. Tia has Johans and her maid and a guard. She's got plenty of company.
Yeah, but you're not with her.
If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty. I want to say that the little Tig is evil for making me feel so.
But I understand. When I get sick, Papa and Mama have to leave me with their maids, too.
Well, they don't take care of you?
That doesn't sound right. Even my mom took care of me when I was sick as a child.
Well, they're always busy with work.
Oh, I see. I guess that's no good.
I know she doesn't mean to accuse me of anything, but as her father's boss, maybe I do overwork Suarez a bit. There's a lot of responsibilities that only he is capable of carrying out. Delegation is a thing, sure, but when responsibilities are legally questionable at best, putting others to the task isn't always an option. But
maybe your papa is in need of some vacation time. He deserves it, doesn't he? He's a hard worker. I could arrange something for the holidays.
I could cut him some slack. Some of his assignments can wait. She's like, I don't know. I can't do much for her mom. She isn't one of my employees. But this would have to suffice. It will be worth it if it makes the little girl happy. Because just like that, the somber look on her face turns into one of pure joy. It's like looking at a little sun, warm and bright. It's nice to do something kind every now and then. Yes, it is, Luke. Yes, it is.
Would you really, Teal?
Would you like that?
I'd like that very much, yeah. We can go to this museum. There's one with lots of cool trains and planes. I like trains.
I like trains.
And there's the local manor theme park and a monkey forest. There's a kid adventure farm too, the wacky warehouse, and a play barn as well. And
Whoa, slow down there, Munchkin. I know you're excited, but I think you should let me schedule your dad's day off before you plan a whole year's worth of stuff.
There's an embarrassed giggle, but she does reel herself in, enough to calm down. Which is a feat in and of itself. It's obvious how giddy she is. And if she wasn't looking forward to the holidays more, like any child should, she does now.
I think Tia would be really happy if you were with her. You could have told me you needed to go to the hospital with her, Teal.
We can still go.
Be angry.
I'd love to be with her, but I wanted to spend time with you, Munchkin. And she told me to stay. Besides, I don't like hospitals. They always smell like alcohol. Not the good kind either.
I don't think anybody likes hospitals. They're scary.
No.
But you said Tia is brave and strong.
That she is.
A content silence comes over us as we go back to scribbling. Though I stop when I'm done with my blue dog, cringing at how awful it looks. Kylie reprimands me for that because I should be like her. The little take goes through several sheets of paper, one drawing after another. Practicing, she says, because practice makes perfect. It's true, though. Not to mention there's a drawing contest coming up in class. She just has to beat Tim from Class D, since girls can't be superheroes. The clay gets a turn, too, when we start sculpting food and pretending we're Michelin chefs. When we're too tired from tossing pizza and making cakes, there's no trouble in finding another activity more relaxing for the both of us. I find myself invested in reading The Picture of Dorian Gray once more. I kind of want to read that for myself, honestly. Often, I lose myself in the pages of the book. However, it is rather difficult to do so when I'm also trying to keep an eye and ear out for Kylie. I've been reading the same paragraph over and over again. Inexplicably, I can feel my skin crawl when the girl sits with Narcissa, maybe, by the parlor's fireplace, humming, singing. Though I ignore it long enough to hear only the tail end of the song.
Everything is up in flames, up in flames, up in flames. Everything is up in flames. My fair lady.
Honey, that's not how it goes. I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie considering how high-strung I feel. So it is a good thing that Suarez came for her as soon as I called. Though it is earlier than the agreed upon time, he voices no complaint. The bastard even had to look of relief as soon as they left. Or at least, I interpreted as much from where I had stood by one of the windows, not barring to step out and greet the man. No doubt he still doesn't trust me around his spawn. Well, he has every right to be suspicious of me. I am a dangerous man after all, but I don't think he would do something to harm a child, though. But to my chagrin, that leaves me with the rest of the day with nothing to do. Well, aside from picking up the mess Kylie left scattered about in the parlor. To my immense relief, she remembered to take her doll home with her this time. But the same cannot be said of the crayons and papers littered here and there. First things first, I snatch my own doodle off the table and rip it to shreds, leaving no hope that it will see the light of day. The rest of the drawings, all Kylie's, remain unharmed as I collect a lot. Though they have been stacked neatly on the table before, they must have been blown about when I saw Kylie off. And there are plenty of them. From cats and cakes to colorful rainbows and gardens, The child managed to make a lot during her morning hair. There's one more that I had to fish out of the fireplace where it landed. I expected to see another one of Kylie's masterpieces. I am instead greeted with something a bit more concerning. There's me, there's Kylie, the two of us side by side, and smiling as our stick figure cells stand in a nondescript field. I don't like that Takaka's there. That much I can ascertain without looking at the labels below the doodle's feet. But a third figure stands next to me in the drawing. A woman, with her face hidden behind a curtain of black. Takako, the writing under her supplies.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
One big happy family.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, and I feel a chill go down my spine. A breath that isn't mine. That has me turning around, expecting, hoping to see someone, anyone, but nothing. And that's when I hear it. Laughter. Sweet and merry laughter ringing from the ballroom. Oh, we're gonna see what's happening next episode. Luke is experiencing shit! Alright. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry that I'm still sick. I'm gonna try and get another 1 or 2 episodes out. It's mostly in my nose, I can tell, so that's why I'm kind of like, I sound blah. But thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a comment if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye! Barf.
Zach!
A time supposed to stop. No! No! What's happening with Zach? In one moment of clarity, my body moves on its own, heart pounding hard against my ears, blood rushing through every vein. Spurred only by adrenaline, in a desperate bid to reach him, and I don't even get to yell for him a second time. I don't even get to call his name.